If you want me to. Yeah. Put that in front of that side. No. Yeah. You're focused, but that might be that.
It's really yes, it's in another action. So I'm really nothing to read it. Say, I don't know what to was that right?
Okay, that you share.
It's
And
just.
then this one, a real estate.
So I wondered if they're looking at it, because they only have the KW shares, is there an interview? That's, I think that was the only one that.
Yeah, that's the last one, but that's the last thing, but like earlier this morning, you went on that.
Yeah, they did.
And then, yeah, they do have a lot of stuff on here, but you just joined.
They did, so that's the only one, right, KW shares?
Yes, and then
That's
there's the KW. You want to go to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Are you in commercial also?
Well, I was asking a question, they said, oh, you should go to commercial, so I went over there to get that information. See if they can assist me with that. But no one has really reached out.
Sounds like there are a few agents here that specialize in commercial.
Yes.
Here's try this. No.
That'll be her first time fighting someone.
She already did. She's gonna bite you first? Huh? She's gonna bite you? She already did. When I tried to take her. Oh, yeah. Can't do that, you gotta observe it. Yeah, I did.
You're running, just, hit next on the thing, and don't forget to put the microphone on. I would recommend repeating the question, like if someone asks a question, just repeat the recording. That way, like the recording could, properly hear the. But yeah, other than that, let me know if anything, I'm gonna go set some plate.
Oh, I was gonna say just the plates, I think, because
Okay.
Kevin will be back any minute now, so, perfect, thank you. This is always the fun part. I don't think I need any of this. Let's go here. That. Here, over there. Open. I think I'm gonna get a water.
Yeah. Yeah, even if it's small, of course, if they're
And, yeah, one of the we have an agent, so that just told them qualified, near salary. Okay.
Hi. Getting close. Bob Walker.
Hey, Chris.
How you doing, man?
So I've got a buyer in contract currently with a different lender. They're doing a 20K grant at City National Bank.
First City, First Citizens.
City National Bank is the
Okay.
name of it.
Okay.
Anyway, the HOA has no reserves, so the lender's declining the loan.
Right, because it's unwarrantable. Right.
Would you have a lender that would do that?
Yeah, so is the complex in bad shape?
No.
All right, so it's just, once they look at the
It's just reserves,
financials,
The financials.
they look
It's
at the
just
financials.
It is-
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean it's not warrantable. It just means that the lender wants certain amount of
Yeah.
criteria for the
They
association.
require 10%
Um,
reserves, yeah,
And what's the low down, right?
20,000 down, or no, 20% down.
20% down?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got solutions for that.
Okay, just in case I have to
Yeah.
get somebody.
Yeah,
But they were able with that 20K that was being granted, buy down the interest rate. So that
Well,
made it.
that's
made
gonna
the
be
price
like,
point that they're paying.
yeah,
uh,
that'll be difficult
entirely.
because trying to get them the down payment, then you're subject to that bank's
Right.
criteria and their guidelines, and they're gonna want to see the financials. But with 20% down, you can get around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the problem is you're showing all of the paperwork of the association, so
Yeah.
you just want to go on a different program.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can look at it for sure.
What the hell is that?
They've got me mic'd up today.
Wireless mic.
Yeah,
Oh, for the Zoom?
for the Zoom, yeah. I told people no, and then
Well, that's good because that camera sucks so bad. When you're at home and your back is turned toward the camera.
you can't hear it. All right.
It's terrible.
Yeah, so
I don't even,
I'm
I don't
dri-
even play with the Zoom people.
yeah, so I'm
They-
I'm driving in and they're like, hey, we got some calls in and they want us to put it on Zoom. And I'm like, "Hey, look, I don't Zoom, I don't know how. And anyway, I'm a one-man guy. I can't do this, think and navigate and then worry about Zoom. Like,
Right.
I'm like,
Great.
yeah, so they're putting us on Zoom. So I'm
Right
just, I forgot I had it on.
Wait, is that like a bracelet around your
Yeah.
ankle? You doing time?
I'm doing time. They kicked me out of my office.
Yeah,
They're just,
they got destruction going on.
yeah, hopefully I'll be back in on Monday. They said Friday, but it doesn't look like, because they just start, they haven't really even patched everything on the drywall, so.
Friday is in tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know if they're gonna work over the weekend, but I should be in hopefully by Tuesday-ish.
Don't worry about it, Chris.
Well, I am, because I'm sick of working out of the house.
You are not.
It was cool for the first 2 days. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it was cool the first 2 days.
Love
and-
working out of the house.
I'm used to people and interaction, and the only thing I have is this yappy little dog. And that's it.
Speaking of yappy little dog, okay, I gotta go say hi to Natalie. All right,
Okay.
thanks, Chris. I'll let you know. I'll get there.
Yes. Speaking of yapping little dog, I go to.
It's making sure I know what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah. Some paper. Leanne? Can I steal a pad?
You don't want to sit behind me, I'm tall, can't see anything.
Look at the ACs.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on? All right. What are you doing now or later?
Do it now. Hey, guys, you know what, since you're here, we've got some time. Why don't you guys go ahead and grab a plate of food? Do it now, yeah. Because otherwise you gotta watch Bobby, and that's not fair, you know?
You don't want that.
There's an extension cord right there, that white one. There's a white one back there. So Bob, do you work out of the office there on PCH?
Yep, that's right, do my,
They put you in your own little room so they don't have to.
that's right, they put me in a room that the door will. They won't have to hear me.
Exactly. They probably didn't know what the heck hit him. They're like, oh, the guy wasn't joking. He actually calls every day. And we can hear him all day long.
Been working well?
So far, so good.
Still
working?
working?
Yeah. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I should do.
Test the video really quick?
Yeah.
Just to be safe.
So right here, go here.
Okay, so I need to sign into your class. Good thing we tried this.
So what do I gotta do?
I think we gotta sign into whatever portal you have.
Oh, shoot. Okay, so you need to log in.
Yeah. Good thing we tried it.
Oh, okay, so email should be,
Should I let TV really quick?
no, it doesn't really matter. I don't know what it is, but if it's anything, it's this.
Yeah, no, that's good, yeah.
Because this was set up way back when, so
I go for like,
let's try this.
sometimes, yeah, I go like with like a supply,
That might be it.
like, and I go.
Looks like it's working.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, so I'm gonna go
I think now that
no.
you're logged in, we might even be, let's go back to the PowerPoint. Let's try to click on that link again.
So I'm gonna click out of it and then click on it. Because it'll read it. Oh, you know, I told it not to save it, so it might not.
Okay, there you go. It's working.
Let's put up the volume so that it'll ever reset. Go ahead and max it out.
I think it's just low on your actual laptop. That's probably how you get the rest of the, I mean, on the computer.
I gotta do what?
Just go down here.
Oh, right here and put it like this.
Oh, that too, but like the volume on the computer is low.
How are you?
Yeah, so max it out. There we go.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Annalisa.
And maybe I'll just drop it.
Let's check.
And or package, and additional supporting documents like credit report.
Okay.
Cool.
Like,
Are you gonna tell us how to get free money?
yes,
Okay,
for
good.
you.
Just a quick update, we should have it, I think painting tomorrow.
Okay.
So I think then you should be able to be coming back. Oh,
Fucking-
no, they're waiting on the flooring.
The way on flooring. Okay, so they're gonna paint and then they're gonna put the flooring in?
Yes.
All right, so probably Monday, Tuesday.
For sure.
Okay, for sure. Okay,
Sorry and thank you.
yeah, no worries.
Headache all around.
All right, you want some food? All right, grab
It's
some,
good though.
grab some. It's free. See, you wanted free money? I got food,
Free food.
free food.
Free food. Okay, that's close.
Close, handout.
Not a handout. I don't want a handout. I just want a handout.
All right, so it works. It's all right here.
Okay, clicker's working. Everything should be good.
It's the volume, got that, boom, okay,
Send someone to come find me if anything happens, but.
okay, all right, we will, we know where you live. It does smell good, though.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh, you got it. Gotta have kung pao chicken. How you doing?
Wait,
So,
Thank you, brother.
yeah.
Appreciate it. And she gave you soy sauce and chili paste?
Dallas.
Nah, there'll be enough.
That's a.
Nah, there'll be enough.
I made it 1 hour.
But that might be a pain. So did you go anywhere interesting this summer?
We went up to Portland to see my daughter for a few days and then Colorado Springs to see my family
Oh, nice.
out there. Yeah.
Is that where you're from?
No, they all moved out to the Springs. Both my sisters moved out to the Springs for some reason.
My niece lives there.
Nephews are there, yeah. And my folks, when it was time for them to move to assisted living, there's a place out there. So they moved there as well.
Nice.
Because both their daughters.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen my niece in like 4, 5, 6 years. She's now like 31, 32, but my daughter got married in Puerto Vallarta, so we went there like with destination wedding.
Sure.
And so I was hanging out with her for like 4 days and she lives there. But it's like, it's weird, like you haven't seen them in like 5, 6+ years. And they're like people.
Right.
Oh, the house. Yeah, like, and then to hear her story, I'm like, man, you're just like this little thing. I mean, it's great, but she lives in Colorado Springs, loves it.
Yeah.
Loves it.
It's a beautiful, it is actually a beautiful area.
Yeah. Jim,
Hey,
how you doing, man?
how you doing?
I made sure I didn't put you up front.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think last meeting all around.
I know, it's like, stop cheating off this guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So who won last night? Who won last night? Okay. Because they don't put the score in the paper anymore. Yeah, because I still one of those still old guys. I get the newspaper every day. Well, I could, but so they stopped putting the scores in it because it comes in after, I guess, the cutoff for all the editorial stuff. So did he really?
These have these bobbleheads with his dog.
It was his dog, right? Yeah, I was. We're crazy. Crazy. Last time when they did his bobblehead, they ran out quick.
They made 10,000 extra. They have these like special golden bobbleheads.
And it was his dog? Not him.
Stop.
Oh, okay, him and his dog. Yeah. We're talking about the Dodger game and the Otani doll.
Yeah.
The golden.
Yeah, but it was his dog, right? With,
His dog.
yeah. Did you get one?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, they have these special golden ones that are going for like $5,000 on eBay. So they, randomly put some in. One of my friends got one.
That's nuts.
I'll have to sell it. Wait, for a bobblehead?
Or bobblehead dog.
Yeah, I don't care, what is it? Bobblehead Jim Polo, right? Somebody.
That's gotta sell for at least 5
You want?
cents.
Nobody knows it. My son's 39, he's good.
Jim, did you want any food?
Yeah, I'm gonna get some.
Okay. All right. It smells really good.
Okay.
You okay?
Oh, no, better.
No.
How are you?
You haven't talked me out of it. Blame him.
No. You guys,
Is there any more coming?
10 out here.
So, okay, I'll wait. And then we got a special surprise. So we are actually gonna be live doing a Zoom class, but I'm not gonna pay attention to the Zoom. Someone's gonna be doing it for us, but I think there are people online.
In the.
Yeah, so everyone on Zoom, we're gonna probably start in about 5 minutes. People are just getting their food and settling in. So I'm gonna let them do that and then we'll start the class. There's only 3 people. So I can see who's in.
Hi, Chris.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Admit all,
Admit all.
admit all.
Okay.
Here you go.
And then, okay, so everyone's mute. I'll let Simon.
So all muted except for you.
Okay, that's me. Okay. Oh, and I can mute all? Look at that. Do I have to keep admitting all throughout this thing?
Oh, there will be some slackers that come in late that you'll have to admit. And there'll be some people that lose connection and then have to log back in again.
Well, they're in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. They'll ask questions in chat. I just ignore that.
Yeah. Just make sure you mute everybody. People gonna be on their phone talking.
Okay. Whew. There was a pretty good line going. All right, so.
Good job.
Oh, you got it. Smells good.
Yeah, thanks for that, Chris.
Anything for you, Bob?
They did 0 points.
So, Bob, how long have you been on that special diet? Yeah, it's been like a year and a half, 2 years.
He started, no, he took a break for a little while, and got back on again in February. I'm working on getting to a certain weight, and I'm stuck 5 pounds above.
You look great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a goal in mind, and I'm at one place and I just keep weighing in right there.
Yeah. You guys still doing all your walks?
Yep. Julia does Pilates. She hit her target. The female goal.
Slacker.
Got 5 pounds to go. But total, we both given away 50 pounds since we started it 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it is. I was freaking fat. Nope. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing what giving away a few pounds will do.
But I'm not gonna eat. You're not gonna.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh.
Why would you not eat in front of me? I know.
We should become.
Yeah. That's how it works.
But still.
Mm. He did. I think there's a few more people who still need to get food. But I promise to get you out of here by 12:30. I'll talk quick. Unless you guys have a lot of questions.
No, I think it's going down like the month, Chris.
Yes,
Okay.
that's all you needed. That's it. You can go. But they're not just going to go down this month and next month. They're going to go down over the next 18 months.
Awesome.
I mean, this is not what this class is, but for what we anticipate is probably a 200 basis points drop when all is said and done. So that kind of equate out to rates in the mid to high fours.
Wow. That'd be good.
So that's at the end of the run or slide, I should say. They're banking on about a 200 BIP cut throughout the whole duration, which is going to last over 18 months. Yeah. So
Or this would affect the rate.
probably about 2%. Yeah. So we should see things in probably the mid to high fours. After 18 months out, we're going to see the slide just keep going. Yeah, it's not going to go drastic like the way it went up. It'll be a nice even slide down, but it will be just gradual and a long journey, which will be good for us.
Pack house.
I know. That's funny. Yeah, I shared this that there's one time when I was really nervous, I did a first-time homebuyer seminar here, and 10 minutes before the class started, there was maybe 5 people here. That's it, and we had all this food, and I was like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And Farah actually helped out that day. She had everyone at the front door, right there by the bathroom, and I went around the corner to look to see if more people were coming because there was really like 5, and there was like 10 minutes before the class started. And she was a gatekeeper. She had them right there by the door, and they were lined up all the way out past the bathrooms down the hallway. And I'm like, "Oh, this is insane." So when I came back in here, this place was packed. I mean, and outside too. Yeah, it was nuts. There was probably, I want to say 80, but it might have been closer to 100 people there. That was pretty intense. I was a little nervous. And I remember talking to the person up front. I'm like, "Woof, I better not suck today," because there's a lot of people looking at me. I'm not nervous. I know all you guys. You all know me, so you know my flaws.
Chris, you're gonna have to speak up louder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will. Is there anyone else still in line?
Just Brandon.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start then. First of all, thank you for coming. I really appreciate that. It's a great turnout. That's what happens when you, I guess, give food. I said I'd feed you twice, so this is the first one. The second time is going to be with knowledge. It's interesting too, because the way this started was actually at a lunch. I went to lunch with a few realtors in the office a couple of weeks ago, and we were just talking about the changes that were coming and the pitfalls that they saw and some of the concerns they had, right? And it dawned on me that what we've been doing for so long, and Simon has been great about this, is teaching you guys the X's and O's of what to do for the contract right now, right? The do's and don'ts. How did it change? How's it going to affect you? What you can and can't do, right? And that's great because that's the pre-game, right? You guys got to know all that stuff because you have to know how to talk to your clients. So we were talking at lunch, and it just it was a question I threw out there because it hit me. I'm like, so let's look at this in terms of the reality of what's going to happen once everything goes into effect, right? Because we know what's going to happen is we're still going to have competition on properties. We're going to still see people trying to outbid each other. And so what happens when the appraisal comes in low? What are your remedies to protect your commissions? Because you guys are all 100% commission, just like I am, right? And we got to make sure whatever we get into escrow closes. And we got to do everything we can to keep it together. Otherwise, we don't get paid. And that's the chief thing, is to make sure that we get paid, right? So what happens when you've done all of your due diligence with that buyer and they went to Chase and Chase said, yep, they're pre-approved for $1 million purchase. They're going to be able to put 5% down. We verified they have the money. We verified that they had 2% for their closing costs. And we verified they have 2% to pay for your commissions because you have a buyer agreement with them signed, right? Because they're going to pay you 2%. Everything sounds great. Boom, we get into escrow and now we're running, processing the loan. We get the appraisal back in 2 weeks and it comes in at $980,000. You're $20,000 less. Chase tells a borrower, hey, we're good. You still have your 5%. You still have your 2% for your closing costs. And the extra 20 grand that's in your bank, you can give that to the seller for the premium, for the difference between the appraisal and the sale price, right? So the transaction can go through.
1 second,
Yes, Jim.
just correct me from what I'm hearing. Are you telling me that our clients are going to have to qualify for 2.5% commission that they're going to pay? The bank is going to look at that?
They're going to have to, yes. We're going to have to. As a loan officer, we have to make sure that your clients are pre-approved, not just for the down payment and closing costs, but also the commissions. Because if you guys get yourself into a transaction, how are they going to pay you? Right? Because now they may not have to. I get it. Because the seller may give it to you. You guys are going to ask for that in your contract. But what if the seller says, no, pound sand, we're not going to give it to you? What do you do then? They still want to make an offer on the property. So you have to make sure that they have the commissions to pay you, right? Well, the appraisal came in low. So how do you make sure that you can still get paid? So just at lunch, we were collaborating. I want this to be a collaboration of you guys too. What are your thoughts of what you can do? Any ideas? Jim?
$3 million, I just don't see it. You know, you could say whatever you want to say. Now, I just don't see it happening. I think there will be a collapse in the market if this happens. And if we keep going with this, because on a $3 million deal, what I'm doing right now, I got to tell my people to come up with almost $70,000 extra to qualify.
Potentially, but that's right. But that's on a side. Let's stick to the point of what we're talking about. Who has any ideas of what we can do? Any ideas?
I think the purpose for all of this is to adjust the prices down, so it will be more affordable for everybody. And maybe that 20,000, the seller realizes the value is not there,
Okay.
so what are you gonna do?
So you're talking about going back to the seller and renegotiating, right? That's one option. You can go back and renegotiate. Anything else you guys can do?
And the seller pay down the rate?
Possibly, but you gotta ask for a seller concession, right? You could possibly pay down the rate, right? I'm sorry, can you guys hear me out there?
Hey, Chris, the other thing, if you could, when they ask the question, just repeat the question for us.
Okay, all right. And then you possibly do an appraisal rebuttal, right? You can still do that. You can go to the bank and go back and say, hey, can we readjust the value, right? If we have a legitimate reason why they should do that, right? So we're looking at a potential rebuttal of the appraisal. We're looking at possibly premium pricing to the client, rebate pricing to pay their closing costs, generating more monies to pay for your commissions, potentially, or renegotiating, right? Absolutely. So those are the three areas you're probably going to attack first, is to make sure you can do a rebuttal on the appraisal, rebate pricing, and renegotiate, right? Absolutely, you could do that. Well, let's look at them. So you're going to go back to the bank and say, hey, we want to do a rebuttal on that appraisal. Yeah, good luck with that. I got to tell you, an appraiser is like a king and queen. When he sets the value of that place, he's telling the bank that's what he believes based on his experience and his expertise. Now you're going to go back to him and he's going to have to say, you know what, I made a mistake. You're not an appraiser, and your value that you thought was worth $1 million is better than my opinion because this is what I do for a living. That's a hard thing to get done. I've asked for a lot of rebuttals and I've got shot down a lot, right? So I say good luck with the rebuttal, but that is an option for us. The second thing, we can go through rebate pricing. Okay, you could do that. But for rebate pricing, it's usually 1 point is what you pay for a differential of a quarter to rate. So what you can do is charge the client a point extra on fee, and they can take a higher rate, but you're not really going to charge them a point. You're actually getting a point rebate. We're getting this back from the lender so that we can pay their closing cost. So we can increase their rate by a quarter, generating 1 point for the fees, which is going to go to your commissions potentially. Or we can go, we need 2 points. Once you get off the sweet spot when it comes to pricing, you don't get the same differential. So the second time you want to get a point, it's not going to be a quarter higher to rate. It might be a half higher to rate. So now you're looking at 7 1/4 of your clients to generate 2 rebate to pay for the closing cost. So they have monies left over to pay your commissions, right? But your client is ultimately going to have to pay that. But that is a solution. You can do that. The problem with that is EPOs in a declining market. Anyone know what an EPO is?
Extra personal opportunity.
Kind of like that. So it stands for early payoff. So early payoff is when a lender does a loan and that loan gets paid off in 6 months. Guess what happens? They come back and they take the commissions out back from you. So any loan I do, if that loan gets paid off in 6 months, the commissions I earned, I have to give it back to them. Can you imagine if you sold a house today and got a $20,000 commission check, and within 6 months, something happened. They lost their job, they got a divorce, or a death in the family, something happened, they had to sell a house. And they came back to you and said, hey, I need my $20,000 back. Can you imagine you have to write a check 3-4 months down the road? That's what happens with the EPOs. And in a declining market, remember, we had to generate 2-point rebate to pay the closing costs. We had to jack that rate up to 7 1/4, right? The market's at 6.5. It's going to slide. As it slides, more competition, more people are calling that client to get them to refi. But that is an option. Let's talk about renegotiation. Yes, you can renegotiate and go back to the seller, but there's no guarantee the seller is going to be willing to pay a less or take a less sale price or pay your commissions at the lower sale price still. So it could kill the deal. And we all know once we get the deal killed, that buyer has a potential of saying goodbye to us, right? We don't want to get out of escrow because if we do get out of escrow, they could go away. And now we lose not only that transaction, but any future transaction with that client as well. So here's what we can do. This is what's going to happen. But how do you guys protect yourself on the go forward?
Get the listing.
Change lenders. Change the way you're thinking. Now, right now, I get it. Until last week, the seller paid your commission. It was a little easier sell to the buyers because they didn't really pay you, right? It was part of the contract, the listing contract. So you guys got them and showed them everything, right?
What is your opinion? What do you think when the buyers are not stupid, buyers are pretty smart. And they're gonna see all this when I sit down with a buyer. What's gonna stop them from saying, Jim, I'm sorry, it's gonna cost me extra to get qualified. I can't get qualified. I have to go directly to the listing agent, because if I go directly to the listing agent, none of this matters.
It does matter, but we'll talk about that in a little later. That's jumping ahead a couple of slides, but we're going to get there because that is a reality. They may go to the listing agent, but you're still going to have to, if you're representing buyers, to try to change the way you're thinking, change lenders, because if you stay with your bank, it's just their eyes, their guidelines. You have no way of doing anything because you have to do it within their guidelines. What you need to do is start thinking about using a broker, because a broker has the ability to go everywhere. And the irony here is about 14 years ago, we went through our changes already. We came out, well, we didn't, but the government came out with something that was called the Dodd-Frank bill.
Yep.
And the guidelines changed for us. They now regulated what we did in our industry. And it was a big adjustment when we made it. We thought at that point, the broker channel was dead. That was the final nail in the coffin because they were going to separate the appraisal from the lenders so we can no longer talk to the appraiser, right? We can no longer coerce the appraiser into giving us the value we needed to make our transaction work, which is what we're doing on a rebuttal, basically. Right? We're going back to him saying, hey, you're wrong. It needs to be $1 million, not 980, so that we can get our commissions, because that's really all I care. Right? So you gotta start thinking, hey, we need to be able to combat potentially what's going to be out there in the future. So let's talk about why you want to use a broker. The rebuttal. All right, we just submit to a different lender. I get a whole new appraisal. I don't have to do a rebuttal to that appraiser who brought it in at 980. I can do a new appraisal with a new lending company. That was the beauty of the Dodd-Frank bill, is it separated the appraisal from the lender, right? So if you stay with Chase, Chase can order a new appraisal because they're one entity. If you stay with your mortgage banker that you work with, they order the appraisal. They own the appraisal because they have all the investors they sell in the back channel, but they can't order a new appraisal. They have to broker a file out. But if you're already using a broker and working with a broker, you just simply switch gears and say, okay, you guys are wrong on value. Let's just take it to a different lender and hope that you now have the comps to solidify why that appraisal should be at $1 million if you get a new appraisal. Good solution.
But how can you go from one appraiser to another? So one doesn't do its job right, or one manufacturer?
There's two different companies, two different lenders. I brokered it. So I brokered it to XYZ mortgage company. They came back with the appraisal at 980. The appraiser was an idiot. We know that. We have comps that solidify $1 million. He's not going to allow it to go up to $1 million because he doesn't want to look like an idiot to the company that hired him to do the appraisal, right? Because he gets his lead source from that institution. He's not going to say, yeah, I'm wrong.
Not stretching.
Right. It's okay. This is not public record. We just simply went over to ABC Mortgage Company and submitted a new file with them and said, please order appraisal on this file. They don't know anything about anything. The appraiser doesn't know that there was appraisal done 2 weeks ago.
Cops and proof.
So the solution with the broker channel is you get a new appraisal instead of doing a rebuttal. Now let's talk about EPO. Yes.
We got a couple out here. Yeah, so like that first appraisal, as a broker, you get one, you don't like it, you go get a second one, you like it. Is that shared?
No, it's not shared. So the question was, if I get a first appraisal and we don't like it because it came in at 980, and we went to a second company that sent it over there and they brought it in at $1 million, do we share all this? Absolutely not. There's two different lenders, two different opinions of value, and the appraisal companies don't talk to each other. They don't know. They don't know.
Let's say if you were to switch from one lender to another lender, that would just add time to your escrow, right?
Correct. Correct, because you got to redisclose. So the question was, does it add time to your escrow if you're switch lenders? Yes. But as a broker, you have the full packet. So as soon as I have a problem, I'm able to switch gears and send it to a different lender. Now we have to redisclose. So we have to put up smart fees. It takes about a day.
Go direct.
Right. And so we have to redisclose so we can get to the appraisal, which takes about a day or two, and then a new appraisal is done, which you can order on a rush. Yes.
Can you rebuttal and switch lender at the same time or no?
You can, but I mean, you absolutely could if you wanted to. Sure. Right. But remember, the second appraisal is going to be at a cost because no one does anything for free. So if you do the rebuttal and the second appraisal, you still have to pay for the second appraisal. Right. But you'll have your choice if the rebuttal comes back, which I can tell you right now, it's slim to none and slip left town because trying to get a rebuttal is very, very, very difficult. So
That's why working with a broker is better than going to a direct lender because.
so let's talk about EPO because that's a real thing. Guys, if we have to give a client a 7.25% rate in today's markets, within 2 months, the market's at 6.5 today. In 2 months, that could be at 6% because rates are going to go down starting in September. We already know that. Fed Powell said, yeah, we're here. We're going to decrease rates starting in September. We're just not sure if it's going to be a quarter or 50-point cut, but we know it's going to happen. And that's not the first, or I should say, not the last. It's the first of many. And so as the market slides, what's happening to this rate at 7.25%? Everybody who's out there getting trigger leads in the mortgage industry on the internet is calling that client to say, hey, look, the market slipped down to 6%. I can get you 6.25% at no cost. Come in and refi. I know you just bought the house for 3 years or 3 months ago. You've only made 2 monthly payments. But if you come on in, I can lower your monthly payment by about $700 a month at no cost to you. How does that sound? Yeah, and guess what happens to that loan officer? That EPO gets triggered. Once a mistake, twice a fool, right? So lenders are going to know this. So in the early on, some of them may not see the forest through the tree and do this until their commissions start getting taken away from them, and then you're going to see this go away. As a broker, there's a difference between lender paid and borrower paid. I'll be right to. So most of the time, and I've been in banking now close to 30 years, but I've always been on the mortgage banking channel or at a bank. Well, I was paid by the lender. As my commission, it was lender paid. Lender paid me, right? And that's why the EPO happened, and I had to pay them back the commission if that loan got paid off within 6 months. In the broker world, we have a choice between lender paid and borrower paid. The difference really is how we disclose to the client. In a lender market, lender paid, there's no disclosure. It's just the rate, 6.5% to them at no points. They're like, hey, great, 6.5, 0 points, perfect. But the bank is paying me 1 point. So I'm getting my commission, right? That's lender paid. Now, borrower paid is I have to tell that client, I'm giving you 6.5% at 0 points, but that institution is paying me that 1 point. I'm just disclosing up front that I'm getting paid by them and how much. And because of that, it's called borrower paid. And in our realm, in the broker realm, there's several lenders out there right now that will do no EPO if it's borrower paid. They won't give you a lot of commission back, but as long as they disclose it, whatever commissions that we get, we don't have to pay back. So now I can play in this, not have to worry about it because, well, if I have to go higher in rate to generate rebate pricing to pay their closing costs, so they can hold on to their closing costs so they can pay your commissions. Because at the end of the day, isn't that what we're trying to do? Is make sure your commissions are secure. That's what I'm trying to create for you guys, is make sure you get paid and we get paid. Because if we have to fall out of escrow, I just know I've been doing this long enough, but a lot of times the buyer goes away. And once that buyer goes away, we've lost them, right? And that's not what we want. So in the broker world, we can navigate through the rebate pricing.
Yeah, everything you have to do is to disclose.
Yep.
So then you don't.
Right. And that's us as a
You
broker,
get paid less.
potentially. It just depends on the rate. But yeah, potential.
So they have to keep the property for the loan for at least 6 to 1
Nope.
year before they can refinance. So they can turn around and refinance second week.
Exactly. So the question was like, can they refinance within 6 months if it's borrower paid? There are a few lenders out there right now that tell us there's no EPO on borrower paid transactions. So any transaction that we know that may potentially get refinanced, which we know this one's going to get refinanced, I'm going borrower paid. So I don't lose my commission and I still help you guys out because we're able to generate money to pay the closing costs so they can keep the money in the bank to pay you your commission. Because that's really what it's about.
Goes from the list, from the selling agent and the loan officer goes back to the lender.
Say that one more time.
So whose commission goes back?
Just the loan officer. No, just the loan officer. This is strictly on the loans. So it's just the loan officer who's going to have to give their commissions back. Yeah. Bob, you know. Yeah. Bob doesn't care. This cares. See, this is why I got him up here. Okay, and I didn't feed him, by the way. He got no food for me.
So it's all EO only an issue if there's rebate pricing.
EPO is out there no matter what.
Okay.
Doesn't
So even
matter.
if there's no rebate pricing, there's no rebate.
Doesn't matter. Anytime a lender is paying the loan officer, there's an EPO on that file that says if that loan gets paid off within 6 months, that the loan officer has to give the commission back to the lender, right?
So if the same person that does that refinances with you, though, you still.
Sure, you can do that potentially,
Another
right?
commission, but you're losing the first, but making another because the rates went down.
Possibly, but now you're competing with internet pricing, and that internet pricing is really skinny. And you might not get anything or have to go in the red to keep that loan for the EPO. So you,
Experience the internet pricing, you become a number and then people.
but it's a refi, and it doesn't really matter. And the refi game, look, I'll tell you, we went through the pandemic and the internet just took over. We thought the wholesale channel was dead 14 years ago. It is now thriving. And in fact, they own about a 26% market share. And the number one lender in America is United Wholesale Mortgage. They are a broker shop. They don't even have a retail outlet. They are the number one lender in America for the last 3 years. They will be again this year. I've gone to their corporate headquarters in Detroit. It's amazing what they have. These facilities are huge. It's like, have you guys been on the 60 going out to Beaumont on the way to Palm Springs and you see the Sketcher buildings?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 of those buildings and they're complex and they house everyone there. Underwriters, processors, I mean, you name it, it's there. It's insane. It's a great operation, kind of. But the broker world is going to maintain the number one status for the next 10 plus years. And Matt Ashibi at UWM has got a vision and it's going to work. It's working. And the number 2 lender is Rocket Mortgage, which is another wholesale lender. Yes.
Can you repeat how rebate pricing is going to work? Because some of us couldn't hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So rebate pricing means I'm going to give the client a higher rate to generate rebate or monies back to me.
Let me, if you don't mind, I want to help connect the dots.
Yes.
So I think sometimes it doesn't get articulated the right way. So mortgage brokers make commission just like you do, right? They don't make money unless there's a sale. So what we used to do in real estate was we worked with a buyer and a seller, but the seller and the listing agent set the total commission that was going to get paid. Are you guys with me? So no matter what you guys were negotiating historically with the buyer, the price of the seller, those fees were already baked in. Does everybody get that?
Yeah.
So in the mortgage world, pre-Dodd-Frank, a mortgage broker got paid the same way. Similarly, they call back-end points and front-end points. So depending on the rate that you were getting as a borrower, dictated what the total points that the broker would get from the lender, in addition or over and above what he would charge the borrower from.
Right.
So post Dodd-Frank, it's changed now. It's not only has to be disclosed, but those margins don't exist like they used to. So let's just say on the rebate program as it relates in real estate, this would be the same as the seller's asking $980,000, but they're not paying or offering any co-broker. Are you guys with me?
Yeah.
So the option you have now is to, if your borrower isn't going to pay you out of pocket, which is an upfront point, that's what the same thing is. If they're not going to pay that out of pocket, you're probably going to get an offer for $100,000 so that you do get paid. It's rolled into it. And that's the same way that a broker works, and that's how the interest rates work.
Exactly.
So
And to that point,
Yeah.
just think if the seller wasn't going to contribute and give you your 2% or 20,000 commission, it would be at 980 and the buyer pays your commission. But you say, wait a minute, what if I give you $1 million and generate that extra $20,000 and then you pay my commission?
Well, what's important is you got the $980,000, you have a price shopper. They got the $980,000 price, but they still paid $20,000. So I get the 6% rate, but I still paid 1.5 points to get the rate. It's very similar.
Right. And now to your point, it's on the screen. So the market rate right now is 6.5% at no points to the client. That's what they should get, right? If the house would appraise at $1 million, we were locked in at 6.5%. They were going to pay no points for it. They got that rate.
How do you avoid the EPO as an agent?
The EPO is not for you guys. Yeah, the EPO is only for the loan officer. But we have to know that because we're helping you through this transaction and I help you through it and all of a sudden I get burned because 3 months later it gets refied, I lose my commission. So how many times is the lender going to do that with you? Once mistake, twice a fool, right? I'm going to do it with you once. And then as soon as I get my commission taken out of my paycheck or write a check and I didn't get a paycheck, I'm no longer going to do that with another agent again when they say, oh, don't worry about it, man. Let's just close the transaction. No, because I'm the one who gets burned. You get your commission, you're fine.
I'll be hitchhiking to work.
Right. I'll be calling Jim to get to work. And I don't want that. So please,
Listen, anything that buys today, another 6 months rates go down, everybody's gonna refinance.
Yes.
How are you gonna police that?
well, the lenders are policing themselves. I'm going away from that because I'm borrow paid. I'm not playing that EPO game, but I'll borrow paid. But going to that point, remember, it's 6.5 at no points. But to generate monies, what we did is we said, okay, Mr. Buyer, I'm going to give you a rate of 6.75. And then the 1 point rebate will come back to me. So it'll lessen your fees that you have to pay. Right. And the reason why we're doing that is so that you hold on to more money in your bank because you didn't pay all those fees to pay your realtor. Right. That's what I'm trying to do is help you guys by making sure they know they can take a higher rate and have no closing cost. Right. And they held on to the money in their bank account so they can pay your commissions.
Financing the commission.
In a sense. In a sense. Correct, right? But they were doing that anyway because before it was built into the sale price because when you check the listing contract, it was built in for the commissions of the buyers, and there's the reason why they set the price at that point, right?
Question buyers have, because now they have to pay the commission in their mind. And the price of the homes haven't fallen by the buyer's commission amounts, they're still the same.
The question was, how do I combat if a buyer is saying, well, actually, we're going to let you ask that question later because there's a forum for that because this is really a collaborative class because I don't really have that question so much to me. I have something similar, but it's on the lending side of it. And I can tell you how I answer the question, right? Because I've set my net worth. I have my script down. I know what I want to tell that client because I need to make sure that they understand the entire process. Right. But we're going to come back to that. That's a good question. But let's go on because I don't want to lose too much. We've got about another 15 minutes. So we now know in the broker world, we can get a new appraisal if we need to, right? That's great. We can avoid and get rebate pricing because we're going to go borrow paid. And then renegotiate, yes, you're probably going to want to do that at first, but it's not going to kill the deal. The seller tells you to go pound sand that you're baked in at 980 and that's it, and seller ain't gonna help you. Well, we've got lenders out there that will do LTV stacking, which basically means we can put the commissions or your commission, the cost into the loan without it affecting the loan to value. But we're gonna table that. That's towards the end of this slide to show you how that works. So I just want you to know, I'm a broker. You guys should be calling me because I can get you guys out of this stuff. Look, if you keep on doing the same thing you're doing and talking to your lender at Chase, because they have great rates, they don't have good rates. I compete with them. They told me when I worked at a bank and when I worked at a mortgage company, the reason why I shouldn't be a broker is because you'll never get the service. You won't get the support you need, Chris. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to be able to get anything done. You're going to call people, nothing will get done, and you're going to be all on your own, right? They lied to me. I made the jump about 5 months ago. They lied to me. You get better service now. We work with about 15 different mortgage companies, and I just happened to land at a great platform at Arbor. I didn't even know how big they were. I got to tell you, very few times in life you make that leap of faith, and when you land, you look around, and you're like, okay, this was bad. This time, I landed and said, holy schmoly, how did I get here? How did I land up here? It was luck. Pure luck, but I got there. Arbor is a great platform because they've got about 300 loan officers that all work on 100% commission. We're all 1099. We're brokered just like you. And the power of Arbor, we call it Arbor Nation. If we have a scenario, we throw it out into the nation and we get answers. They tell us exactly what company to go to and who the rep is, and here's their contact information. When I call that rep and I say, hey, this is Chris Rivera at ARBOR Financial, I got a call back probably within a couple hours. And if he doesn't have an answer for me, he'll put me in contact with an underwriter. It's crazy. It is crazy. So you do need to get with a broker. My office, well, it's under construction. It's right there. I used to joke that's what happens when you don't pay bills. But it wasn't that. Anyway.
Still driving to work though on time.
I am. I still get here. So, we're talking about once we're in escrow, right? The practical of what's going to happen and how to make sure that your commissions get paid. And Simon and the staff has done a great job of teaching you the X and O's to get in there, right? But we also talked at lunch as we went through this. Well, to the question she asked earlier about the buyer agent commission and the agreement, and how are you guys going to be able to sell that to your client, right? Because you have to establish your net worth. You now have to tell them how much they should pay you on commission. And Brandon's really good at this. And I've heard this guy talk about his negotiation skills in his class. It's spot on. You have to be able to negotiate up front. You got to, in my opinion, you got to sell your secret sauce, right? Some other people call it your unique value proposition. You put whatever word you want there. For me, it's secret sauce, right? So I want you to imagine this. Imagine that legislation came down in the state of California that said it's mandatory now that any restaurant you go to, if it's a sit-down restaurant, you have to pay a gratuity, and minimum is 5%. You're like, yeah, okay, well, I usually tip anyway, right? But now it's mandatory and you have to, right? And it's all negotiable between you and the company, right? So it's your anniversary, you're taking your wife out, your spouse out to dinner at an Italian restaurant. And we're going to call it Brandon's Italian Bistro. And you get there, and you walk in, and there's a sign, welcome to Brandon's Italian Bistro. We have the best food in the world, and we offer the greatest service. And right below it, it says, mandatory 25% gratuity added to every bill. What are you guys going to do? Right. And I got to tell you right now, I'm thinking like, I didn't even know if I wanted Italian tonight. Mexican, like 25%, right? I don't tip anyone 25%. Well, maybe once or twice in my life, but that's about it, right? So you have a choice to leave or stay there. But the person there knows exactly what's going on in your head. And this is where you have to have the secret sauce. You got to be able to sell yourself. Right? That's the whole negotiation as to why they should pay you 2.5%, 3%. You name the number, right? So it's the secret sauce. And they go on to tell you, hey, look, let me show you this video of what the experience you're going to get when you go behind these doors. Because we put you in a little bit of Italy, Tuscany region, and we have the best tomatoes from the Tuscany region. We use nothing but spices from them. We're going to pair it with the greatest bottle of wine you've ever had. And here's all our Yelp reviews, and this is what you get. See, they're selling the secret sauce to you. And pretty soon you see the video and you're like, whoa, I kind of like that. Okay, I'm out here at special occasion. Okay, looks like I'm going to get a great service. The Yelp reviews, the people told me it's really good. I'm in, right? But if they don't stop you and show you why you should be staying there for the 25%, you're going to bolt and go Mexican because, well, I didn't even know I wanted to tell you. So let me just show you something that came across my desk about a month ago. It's something Arbor does. It's about putting your best offer package. Because I really believe that you got to put your best foot forward, right? And the market has changed. How are you going to distinguish yourself from your clients, or not from your clients, from your competition, right? Because you can keep doing the same thing and say, hey, I'll put you on my feeder. I met you at an open house and I'm going to drip campaign. So if you're looking for a property in Gardena or Torrance, whatever, you'll get it and we'll stay in contact that way. Well, people are doing that. You guys know Zillow's around, Redfin. I mean, I put in an address for Redfin and I constantly get updates for that zip code. Open houses, price changes, new listings, coming soons, all that stuff, right? They're doing your job already. So why are they going to pay you more? For me, I think that I need to be a little bit better than next. So the best offer package gives you kind of a step up. Let me kind of put this in here.
And or package, meaning additional supporting documents like credit reports, proof of funds, etc. Or alternatively, you can also utilize it cohesively with your realtor.
Sorry, guys, but this thing is in my way. Yeah. There we go.
What does BOP do, or best offer package? It is a platform that you can pre-approve your clients, generate your pre-approval letter and or package, meaning additional supporting documents like credit report, proof of funds, etc. Or alternatively, you can also utilize it cohesively with your realtor partners. They can have an account themselves where they can log into their portal. They can request pre-approvals from you. They can also write new pre-approval packages for them specific to certain offers they're looking to put together or properties they are going to offer on with our clients or mutual clients with them, as well as put together this cohesive offer package that you see here on the screen. It starts with a cover page that gives a synopsis of the client and or the realtor. It is branded to the realtor. It goes over an offer summary page, which is extracted from the RPA that you upload to the offer package. And so there is no work that has to be done on the behalf of the realtor. It is just them simply uploading that purchase contract. And then it moves on to the pre-approval letter, which will cover all of the information needed to suffice that condition, the proof of funds, and then the credit report, also a spot for DU. And then of course, at the end, there is the purchase contract that you can then download out of the file here. Now you can also save this separately. So it's not in regards to the purchase or the best offer package. It is separate from the best offer package so that they have that accessible. As you can see here, we just click on the download button, but we can also go directly right back to that offer package. We can also create a pre-approval package, so it doesn't necessarily have to be an offer package. This can be branded to you or the realtor as well, just depending. And this can include the following supporting documents: credit report, proof of funds, DU results, etc. as well.
Okay.
So it's an aggregator, basically.
Yes.
You run it through this system.
Do or best offer.
You just run it through this system and it assembles a package for you that then gets sent to the listing agent, that they can then see all that. I got an offer on one of my listings that was similar to this.
Yeah, and so there's more to it. I don't want to show you more videos, but it's just really designed for you guys to put your best foot forward. If you're going to write an offer, you guys should be showing the listing agent or seller proof of funds, proof of FICO score. I can even put in there a pay stub. We're going to be able to redact all that stuff. The beauty is, and I don't want to show you the video just because we're running out of time, that you're custom, you get your own account. So when you, like Jim has thrown me 4 borrowers, right? So I've pre-qualified all these buyers and they're in Jim's account. Now it's on a weekend and Jim needs a pre-approval letter. He just goes into his account. He looks at John Doe. John Doe's good for 900,000 with 5% down. He's going to write an offer. He can just send it out. He doesn't have to contact me. He's got the total ability to do that. But it's there. Once it's in there, it's there. So when he throws me 4 more next month, now we got 8 in our system, right? And now 6 months down the road, when we have 20 borrowers that are pre-approved, he doesn't have to call me and say, what is that guy? Remember that guy 4 months ago, John Doe? What was he qualified for? It's already in the system. It shows you exactly what his pre-approval stuff was, and you can write the offer. Now, we may have to update stuff, but as we get the updated pay stubs or bank statements or whatever it might be, I can redact the information and put it in there so you can attach it.
Two quick questions. So Bob, when you got that offer with that package, did it make you feel any better about that buyer?
No.
No?
No.
You weren't impressed?
And Frank wasn't right?
Was I impressed?
Well,
It was easier there was the overview of what the terms were, which I appreciate that.
Right.
And scroll down, there's the pre-approval letter. Okay, there's the evidence of funds, and here's the RPA. Great.
So it was a better presentation than.
It was a better presentation than you will usually see
Right.
from most hack agents.
That's where I was going. And then second, So this
Unfortunately. the
conversation, in particular, Chris. So if I represent Bob and you pre-qualified him up to 900,000. And we found a property, that's on the market for 875. And we're writing an offer for less than that, and you're not available, can I edit what it is so that the pre-approval letter is only coming to the amount I'm writing the offer on instead of 900,000?
Yes, as long as it's below the max. Yeah,
So we do have that capability.
you have the capability, as long as it's below the max. If I set it at 900, that's where it's at, right? You can't try to override it to 925, but you can't go to 875, 850, 800, you're fine.
Just send me a PDF, Chris, and I'll edit it.
Well, yeah, I've done that. It gets us in trouble. It's not a good solution, I can tell you that. So, that's the best offer package. I was gonna show you how you can add it and edit. I don't really want to go through all that stuff. We don't have time. And then there's another one, how to do it. I'll sit down with you guys if this is something you guys would like to do. I just think that you guys need to have your own special sauce, whatever that is, because you guys are at the front line. You guys are talking to the buyers, and you have to have your script down as to why they should pay you X, right? Because I've got mine. I can tell you when a client calls me, I don't really talk rate and points too much. I'm usually talking structure and ability and why they should use me. They just hear it in my voice. Because I'm going to tell them everything they need to know about getting pre-approved and options and the market direction, right? And all that stuff, the different loan programs. And then when we get to rate, yeah, we can compete with rate because I'm a broker. I'm going to make sure you're getting the best rate. So I know you're thinking, well, how am I going to get you off Chase? Because they work with Chase. They got their mortgage guy, right? They've got their people. Like, it's an easy script. I used to tell people that, if it was me referring someone, I want to refer you to Chris Rivera over at ARBOR Financial. I've been working with him for 10 years and people love him. He knows what he's doing. And I get that you have a great relationship with John over at Chase Mortgage. But Chris is going to do one or two things for you. One, he's either going to show you that John's giving you great terms and rates, or he's going to be able to beat John over at Chase. Isn't that worth 10 minutes of your time to get to make sure that you're getting the best terms for your transaction?
Easier to just say Chase sucks.
It would be.
You're gonna be chasing your loan officer.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're doing with Chase. Exactly. So guys, we're in it together. This is what I do. I'm right here. I can't run from you guys. I want to protect your commissions. I want to help you if you guys want to do this. We'll talk more about it later. But if you want to get in the last couple of minutes what LTV stacking is and what that means, is we're able to put your commissions potentially into a loan, right? And so basically, if the seller doesn't want to pay, the appraisal comes in low, we could potentially do this. So you can finance your brokered stuff in it to help the borrower. It doesn't affect their loan to value, so they get the same rate. They don't get triggered with MI, that sort of thing, right?
Ask Chase will do that for you.
They will not. Now, the thing is, this is not a Fannie or Freddie Mac program. It's not FHA, it's not VA yet. This is the first chink in the armor. This is the first one I've found, but it's only on non-QM loans. And right now you might say, well, what is a QM loan? And non-QM doesn't sound like something I do. You do them. So QM stands for qualified mortgage. I talked about the Dodd-Frank bill earlier. They set the requirements of what we have to do as lenders to be able to do a loan, ability to repay, and that full documentation. The non-QM sector was our old subprime, the Alt-A type products. You guys do these loans and you don't even know your borrower is doing them. Investment loans, all investment loans, not all, that's absolute. Most all investment loans are doing this DSCR loan. It's just an easy qualification. It's the same rate. It's better than a full doc if they go the old school. So if you handle any investors or if you take any investor, they're probably doing that DSCR loan. It's in the non-QM sector. And right now it's about 16%-ish of all transactions are investor loans, right? So we know at least a sixth of the market, 16%, is in the non-QM sector. But there's other ones. Do you guys help self-employed borrowers? They're doing bank statement, they're doing P&L, they're doing one-year tax returns. People that want to put 20% down in the jumbo sector, they want 10 or 15%. That's the non-QM sector. Asset depletion. Some of these lenders, they will do hybrid and let you join to. I've got one right now. It was a sale price of $3 million. Client wanted to put 25% down. He doesn't qualify full doc. He has a good income, makes about $350 base, $50,000 bonus, and he had $80,000 from other places that you can't really use. $400,000 sounds like a lot of money. That's about $33,000 in income. It's not a lot, but the PITI at 2.2 was $18,000. So his PIT or his DTI, debt to income ratio, was 52%, couldn't get it approved. I was able to do an asset depletion because the guy had $2.25 million liquid in the bank, was only using 775. So the leftover of 1.5, I was able to use that on an asset depletion and got the guy about $20,000 in just asset depletion income. And then I threw in his personal bank statements because I couldn't show his tax returns. So we showed his personal bank statements and he was getting $10,000 every pay period because the guy had good income, right? So now I've got $20,000 from personal income from his W-2 job, and I got $20,000 from his asset depletion. I got $40,000 in income each month for qualifying. DTI went down to 42, approved, right? Non-QM sector. This sector right now is probably about 25% of all loans that are being done. So it's a bigger sector than you think. And this LTV stacking is in here because they don't have to adhere to the Fannie and Freddie guidelines. They're not the Dodd-Frank bill. This is kind of the old Wild West in a sense. It has to make sense and they will do it. But this is, to me, the first of many. Fannie and Freddie will eventually get there. It's going to take quite a number of quarters, but they'll get there. Yes, exactly. But they will get there. So, guys, I ran over about 4 minutes. Hopefully you guys got a good nugget or two, and you can see the value proposition that I bring to you, which is being a broker in this office, is going to allow you to navigate through this and avoid the pitfalls of your commission. Because bottom line is I want to make sure you're paid just like I'm paid. So that's it.
End of the day, so. You need stacking.
Did you record it?
I didn't. But I know it if you have questions.
I have questions.
Okay. You have my card, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just call me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Are we doing that fantasy football?
We are. Yeah, I'm here for the 1 o'clock thing too.
What 1 o'clock thing?
Are you part of that?
I don't know what you're talking.
The task force? You're not part of the NAR thing?
See.
Yes. Still around?
Yes and no.
Oh.
Yeah, so state income is what we used to, we don't really do that. We do this, we do these things now. We do this, P&Ls, we do 1 year tax returns. The P&L is really more like stated income because this in here, you're just getting a profit loss. So it's kind of like stated in a sense, yeah.
Just show that you have.
Yeah. And really, the bank statement programs are probably more inclined with your stated income because it's self-employed borrower, right?
Yeah.
All right, so just imagine a guy who's, let's say, a cleaner, he owns a cleaning shop. And so what we're gonna do is say, okay, let me have your business receipts for the last 12 months. And he puts in $30,000 in revenue into his bank statement every month, right? But out of that, he's got to pay his bills, all that stuff. So what we're going to do is take 30,000 times it by 12, is 360. And we're going to give him a 50% expense factor for his brick and mortar, his people that he's got to pay, all that stuff. So then instead of 360, he gets 180, which is $15,000 a month. And that's what his qualifying income is. Right.
Do you live in Las Vegas?
We do, I don't, we do, yes. Yeah, I can do this loan in Las Vegas. I can do a DSCR loan in Las Vegas. I just can't do any like normal full doc loan. I have to be licensed, but I have sources for it. There are people at ARBOR Financial that are approved in Nevada.
Oh, I'll let her know because right now she's stuck. I went to Chase.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
Chase doesn't offer these.
for sure, that's what she called me. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even want to go into the whole thing of what Chase can and can't do. They just can't. And the problem with Chase is they only have one little
yeah.
offer. That's it. And if you fit in it, you're golden.
Right,
Right.
no, you're out.
You're out.
I know, that's what-
Right. And it's reserves, DTI, LTV, all that stuff. Yeah.
I don't know, thank you.
Sure. How you doing?
So I just had a question. So when it comes to trying to put something together so that the commission is, handled alone. And then the concern about not refinancing in the 6 month period, is there any kind of disclosure or anything that they can sign?
Yeah.
Because we can't force them not to.
Yeah. No, because the Dodd-Frank bill said part of that QM rule said no prepayment penalties. Right. So the lender can't put a prepayment penalty. I could ask you nice, and I do have this conversation with the client all the time to say, look, what we're doing, we're helping you out. We're going to get you that loan, but here's the reality. Like, if you pay this off within 6 months, we're going to come back and take my commission. Like, I help you, but you have to, not penalize me for helping you. I have that conversation with the clients, and I've only gotten burned once. Most of the time, people are respectful, but dollars and cents play a lot. And they do. And I know in this sliding market, we're going to see you taking 7 1/4. The market's going to go down to 6 or below, and it's going to be hard not to.
I mean, I don't know that they're gonna plummet that quickly, though. I mean,
Well, that's because
you're
you
gonna get that down to 3.
know, but what it will do with going to the screen here. So this is par pricing, right? That's 6.5. Well, to generate the 2, the further you get away from the sweet spot, which is this, you have to pay more to get the benefit. So you can get 1 point rebate for just a quarter for the first whack. The second one, you're not going to get the same benefit. It's not a quarter to rate, it's a half now. So the more you're trying to get back, the higher this rate goes, which means the spread when it goes to the refi is greater.
Yeah, because the
Right.
it's affected.
Because it started at 6.5. Now the market moved just a tad and went to 6 1/4. This guy's at 7 1/4, and people are calling him saying, hey, 1% reduction. And really, it's because you lost 3/4 to begin with. So the market didn't move that much, but it moved. But the overall effect is it moved a lot because of where you started.
FHA still at 5.5 today.
Still 5.5, yeah, mid
And
fives.
the,
This all works in FHA world too.
and convention right now, what is it today?
Conforming, you're probably looking at about 6, 6 1/8, depending on FICO score. High balance, you're probably about 6.5. Jumbo is right there too.
I mean, so much better than what it was,
It-
right?
Absolutely,
Yeah, it's like
absolutely.
Percent and a half, depending.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I've now been over here for about 5 months.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I've gone through my first initial learning curve because I've closed many files now and I see like how it all works. Now it's like, okay, I'm walking. I get it. I should have done this a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but this isn't any different than, or is it different than what we would have done if a property can appraise and we say, okay, your closing costs are gonna be X, I'll check with your lender to find out how much your closing costs are. And we're gonna just bump your purchase price to cover that. So then you're not affected at that point.
If you can get all that done.
If the deal can be done.
If the deal can be done, you can keep it the way it is, right? You can keep walking the same way, sure.
Yeah.
As long as they'll do a rebuttal, possibly. But again, it's not something that I've seen, because trying to convince an appraiser who, remember, when the Dodd-Frank bill came, we separated. That was part of the separation, is so that we wouldn't talk to the appraisers.
Yeah.
We wouldn't coerce them into increasing the value. So they don't have to.
No, they don't.
Right?
have to.
And so why would they? Because they're basically saying, I screwed up, I made a mistake, and they're smarter than I am. It's just, it's a tough bridge.
Very, very hard to get through.
Right.
I'm just thinking that if there's enough spread and there's enough comps to cover whatever the commission would be, and it's on par with closing costs, so it doesn't exceed it, then you're not involved in that refinance thing
Doesn't affect, no, yeah, as long as that house appraises at $1 million, it's all good. Because the problem was, it came in low. That it's like, okay, once a problem happens, how are you going to fix it? Because no one sees the problem, but you just have to know that.
Change lenders, like you said.
Change lenders, right?
Question, my son, he planning to buy a house, but he has a student loan. Can he, combine his debt with the loan, mortgage, and pay all together with the debt? No?
No. No, on a refi you could, but he's looking to purchase. So to purchase, the only thing you're really gonna be able to put into it, FHA would allow you to the upfront mortgage insurance, VA would be the VA funding fee. You can try to go with a down payment assistance program where they're gonna help you with the closing or the down payment and excess. Right, but see, the reason why you want to do that is because you're using their monies for the down payment or closing costs, holding on to your money in the bank, and then using that money to pay your.
The charge like 34%. If he gets lower with the mortgage, combine it all together, he can pay it all with the mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, they won't allow him to put his bills or his credit cards or whatever into the loan. They won't. Not on a purchase. Yeah. Right. And or like I said, you can do a down payment assistance program and then use their funds for the down payment and closing costs. So he holds on to his money. And then his money he pays.
The loan he has a debt.
Sure. So it just depends on what he qualifies for. So it just depends on what his income is. And what's the debt load gonna look like after he pays it off?
Yeah, he has money, but he's in crypto. But yeah.
Right. And that's in that non-QM sector is crypto. They have lenders that do crypto, yeah.
Can he make an appointment to you?
Sure, you got my card, right? Okay, I'll get one for you. I know Bernice has got a question, but I have the card. I'm all boxed up. Otherwise, I would have walked over to my office and gave you one, but.
Okay.
Oh, you know, there's some in the front, in the very front.
Oh, okay.
If you hold on, I'll give you one.
Okay. I'll be there.
What's up, Bernice?
So, said, you're gonna teach us about the DOP, you know, those of us who want to know about that.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.